This week on the DonCast, we've got Nicky Johnson from Johnson & Sons Barbers. Nicky and I talk about all things barbering, being a barber, what it's like working with your son. Is there really a difference between men's hair and women's hair? And Nicky walks us through the entire experience that it is getting a haircut at Johnson & Sons. The DonCast, a podcast all about Doncaster, brought to you by Market Asset Management, the market operators. Just before we get into this week's episode, just a second to tell you about the Creator Pod in the Wool Market, Doncaster. You can come and create your content for your business, your personal brand, using all this gear in this room. Keep an eye out on the creatorpods.co.uk website, because as soon as lockdown is lifted, we're ready to go. And if you'd like to come and sit in this chair and be a guest on the DonCast, then all the details will be in the description box below. Get in touch and let's get you on. Let's have a chat. Enjoy today's episode. So today,
hi,
Nicky, you're here. The Barber is what I call you to everybody. The Barber.
That's what it is.
Good. I like, Nicky, for you to introduce yourself because you know you better than I do. So who are you and what do you do, mate?
I'm Nicky Johnson. I'm a barber. I work with my son. And that's it. We just do what we do. We do what we do best.
Yeah. Not just any barber, it's an experience, isn't it? You don't just come for an haircut. You get an experience when you come for an haircut with you.
Yeah, I mean, the process of me being a barber, for me, you know, from beginning till now, it's been a long process of years and years of, you know, dedication, practice, sacrifice, everything to be able to get to this point, you know, and that's like, you know, for the first time in years, I feel like I have actually got to that point.
Yeah.
You know, obviously lockdown has changed everything, and here we are in the Wool Market, and it's been a brilliant experience. I mean, apart from, you know, when we are here, obviously.
Yeah.
When we are here, I think, you know, it was quite nervous coming into a situation where there's, you know, lots of other traders and lots of other people, but I can honestly say that everybody here is welcoming like family, and I feel like a part of the family, and it feels good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that. I really like that about the Wool Market is you're not on your own. Like if you've got a shop in the middle of a street, I mean, it's good and you can make it work, obviously, lots of people do. But here I do get the feeling you're part of something else. And as well, you like, even when it comes to basic like marketing and stuff like that, you're not just on your own. You've got the pull of the entire building of the other people. People might come in for food and then they're like, all right, I can get my hair cut here as well, and vice versa. Come for an haircut, end up having some chips or whatever it is that they might order. I like to ask people, Nicky, not what you do. We know what you do, barber, but why do you do what you do? Is there a reason why barbering?
I think, you know, there's a lot of things I could have done. I mean, you know, I've dabbled into music. You know, I've had, you know, song played on the radio. I'm an artist. You know, I've even worked in a call centre. There's lots of things that I've done in my life. But when you find something that you are good at, and, you know, it's like cracking a code. When you've cracked the code, and then it's like, boom, I know what I want to do. I'm good at what I do, and I'm just going to take it as far as what I can. You know, to see where it takes me, and that's what I did. You know. And I say the last 6 years has been a massive learning experience from, you know, it's okay, you know, having a trade, but then you learn certain things like what it is to run a business, you know, what it's like to employ people, what it's like, you know, to have all them stresses like piling up on you, and how to really manage that stress. And, you know, when people start a business, you know, people will see the Instagram pictures is all nice, but they don't see you, your missus giving you a foot rub when you're like laid back, you know, after like 12 hours cutting hair, you know, trying to get your name out there and, you know, get people to really respect you and take you seriously.
That's it. When you're your own business, you're your own accountant, you're your own marketing department, you're your own customer service, you're your own everything, aren't you? It is tough.
Yeah. So when I look back, on my barbering career, what the people don't see is like failure after failure after failure after failure till you actually get it right. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's where we're at. I feel like I've come through that, and the good thing I love about my job is you just learn something new every day. It's there's always new hairstyles coming out. There's new techniques. There's technology has made all the equipment that you use 100 times better.
Yeah.
And it's continuous.
Yeah.
And you just don't stop learning. So that's what I love about it.
When you talk about equipment, am I right? I don't know if it's all, but most of your equipment's actually wireless, like the clippers and everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's a YouTube guy, a barber, an entrepreneur. I think he's called Chris Bossio. He's got a brand called Tomb 45. So they started promoting this wireless mat.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, go on then, let's give it a try.
It's cool, innit?
And it's kind of what I was looking to do was because back in the day, you'd have all your clippers and they all had wires. All the wires would get twisted up. You trip over wires. It was just, just looking back, it wasn't that good. But what I tried to create is something that's ergonomic, like an ecosystem that everything within your workspace just flows, and that's what we try to do with this project is just get it so that anyone who for the worker, for the person who's got to be there all day working. Just to make it as much of a pleasure as possible.
Yeah,
so.
That's brilliant. That makes sense. What's it like working with your son?
Brilliant.
Yeah, you enjoy it?
Yeah, you better ask him that question. I better have a different answer now. I mean, we get on great. The past 3 years, the first thing I said to him is, "Do you want me to go easy on you? Or do you want me to go hard on you?"
Yeah.
He says, "Go hard." So I did. And he's come through it. We've had a couple of fallouts. And I'd say if you don't, you ain't doing it right. If you don't get to that point, and as I told him this, if you don't get to that point where you question if you still want to do this, when you're ready to walk out that door and never pick up a clippers again, if you ain't doing that, you ain't doing it right. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I see it.
I like it. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna say because how old is he?
23.
23. So what I found, like with my dad, as I got older, you become more mates. It's like less of a father-son relationship, unless you need something and you need your dad to bail you out. But other than that, you do have a relationship that's more mates. And when I've seen you together, it is more like your pals.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, and that works because, like you say, if you're working with family, it can be hard. It
can make or break you.
Yeah. But you seem to have found that secret.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what that secret is or whatever it, just whatever happens.
Yeah.
And I think, and I've got another son as well called Bradley, and we all seem to have the same kind of laid back personality, so we all seem to really get on well. So,
That's good. Do you have a favourite haircut? Favourite hairstyle that you like to do? Not necessarily have yourself, but do.
Yes.
Is it short back and sides?
I like to do flat tops.
Right, okay.
Because it's the first cut that I learned to do.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, way back in the 90s, they had all these films that came out called House Party and New Jack City. And it was really like an American influence, and they just had all just really, it was a really creative time.
Yeah.
So, I'm there, pair of clippers, and what you would do is you would just copy what you saw on these films, and the main cut at that particular time was these high tops, where it was just, like bald on the sides and just went square. You know, it's just creative sculpting, and I really enjoyed doing that, and that's really what got me into it in the first place. So, you know, it's and I find it mad that the same cut that I did all them years ago, I'm still doing today, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit better, but
yeah. Well, you know, you're doing it a bit better if you've been doing it that many years. Have you had any strange requests? Has anybody come in and said, like, look, I want my hair like this? Or do you do beards and stuff as well?
We do beards. Literally, I try and cover every single aspect of barbering that I possibly can.
Yeah.
Request-wise, you always get, you know, mad requests. Usually it's someone who brings you a photo, maybe of, say, back in the day, they bring you a photo of David Beckham.
Yeah.
You'd look at them and
I've been one of them.
And you'd be like, it's not ever going to happen. You know, sorry, I don't know how to tell you this, but...
You can't go from skinhead to curtains, mate.
And then you know, someone come in with, you know, blonde curly hair wanting to look like Ronaldo. Do you know what I'm saying? Them type of things make me look like Ronaldo. And I used to say, well, you know, is it the hairstyle that you want, or is it do you want to look like him? What is it really? Because I can't really do you that haircut.
Yeah.
So...
That's it. Walk me through, if you can, like what the experience is like, because obviously a lot of people are like, oh, you go get your hair cut, you walk in, you sit down and you say, like, you know, short back and sides, cheers. But your place is different. Like the customer experience is different. So things like, from a customer's point of view, it's booking online only, isn't it, on your app? What's the app that you use?
The app's called Booksy, and it's a very simple way of being able to book an appointment. It's good for us because we don't need to answer any phones. We don't need to, you know, I'm not a secretary. You know, I'm not gifted at speaking on the phone or anything, I don't think.
No one likes talking on phone.
And, you know, back in the day, you know, someone would message you at 2 o'clock in the morning. Can you cut me hair, mate? And like... you know what I'm saying? That takes everything out of the picture, and also it kind of keeps it. So it's like a personal organ. It's like having a PA. In an app, and it literally does everything from, you know, booking the appointments. The thing that I like about Booksy is the fact that, and this is for anyone who's running a business, not just barbering. You might be doing nails, anything. It keeps your clientele in a box. You have their email addresses, phone numbers. So for you to be able to contact someone directly through email or drop a text blast is perfect. You understand? So that's what I like most about it. I think when you're running a business, you can actually put a little bit too much out there on social media and forget that you are in competition with other people. You know, whether you like it or not, you know, that's what it is. It's a competitive business. So, you know, social media, you can put too much on there and you can let people know too much. Whereas an app like Booksy, you can keep everything in a box, private. It's just intimate between you and your clientele. And that's kind of the thing we've tried to create is, you know, a nice intimacy between barber and client, which really starts off with consultation, which I'd say the most important thing is, you know, we like to really talk with the customer about what they want. You know, how do you want your hair? Instead of like turning up, sitting there, getting your hair cut, and you might like it, you might not. It's like, you know, Russian roulette. I might like it this time, I might not. You know, at least I think it makes a massive difference if you consult with somebody and just get the consultation out the way. They might want a style that you think, well, it's not going to suit you, but if you try it a little bit different like this, it's better for your face shape, etc. You know, and that's, I think, the most important thing for anyone. Really, barber and customer.
And once you're in, then you're in there. Like you've mentioned, the ergonomics around the workplace as well. So there's no wires like I've been in hairdresser before. Wires whacking you in face as they go from one side to the other. There's none of that sort of stuff. Music's a big part of the experience of getting your hair cut at your place. What type of music do you play?
Where do I start? I mean, I'm a music head first and foremost before anything. So I listen to jazz, hip hop, mainly old school hip hop because I like my 90s. I like reggae, soulful house, just a real eclectic mix of something with a nice groove.
Yeah,
something that's laid back, soulful, and that's just me. That's my taste.
I do think like everything you're saying here, I'm like, and I think people watching and listening, they're almost being taken through this experience and they'll understand exactly what you mean by that. Because I think that, having been around the place as well, everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, that is how you describe how it feels. So you are doing a fantastic job at putting that across to the customer as well. So it's clear that you've really thought about the customer experience, like from booking, consultation, what it's like while you're in there getting your hair cut. I do think it's fantastic. Over the last 12 months, obviously it's been, I can say, a shit show for most people. What's been quite difficult for you, have you found, in the last 12 months?
I think what people have to realise is it's not a case of going into lockdown and coming back and just going straight back to work. It's a case of going into lockdown and having to basically restart your business from scratch. Yeah, and just be absolutely thankful that, clientele that you've had in the past do come back to you. It's no secret that through lockdown, there have been other barbers that have been cutting hair. For whatever reasons it is what it is. I don't judge nobody. But the simple fact is that for someone like myself who hasn't done it, it seems like unfair competition. So you can expect, some of your clientele to, you're not available, you're not convenient. So they'll go somewhere else and they might like where they've gone to, and that other barber might retain that custom, and that's just how it is. You don't take it personal. Once you've been in business for so long, that whole like taking everything personal and spitting your dummy out every 2 minutes. Yeah. Some people will know what I'm talking about, but that goes out the way and it's more a methodical kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. It's been tough through lockdown for a lot of people.
Have you managed to do any haircuts, like family members or whoever?
Yes, and I'm the only man in the house.
Yeah.
So I live with another 4 females.
Do you do their hair?
Yes.
Do you?
Well, 3 of them I do, yeah.
How difficult, or how different, is it, men's hair, ladies' hair? Is it a massive difference?
Well, not really.
Oh.
A hairdresser from years ago, a guy called Graham Richardson, hi Graham, he told me that there's no difference between short and long hair, it's just longer. You still taking the same amount of hair off, it's just longer. Yeah. So I kind of tried to keep that in my mind, instead of looking at this massive, great big ball of hair and just thinking, where do I start? Yeah. I did watch YouTube videos, a few Insta videos. There's a guy called A.D. Phelan, I think that's how you pronounce it, who put a few tutorials up. He was the guy famous for doing David Beckham's mullet.
Okay.
So I seen him on, and he's doing great things for the NHS and everything, and it just shows just the basics of how to do, just basic sectioning. Yeah. So once I learnt that, I've got like plenty of women in the house to practice on. So,
Good. Yeah. The one question that I like to finish each episode on with the trader series that we're doing, so everybody that works across the market, is to ask, let's say you're not a barber, which obviously we hope that you're a barber and you stay here forever. Let's pretend you're not a barber. This is not here. You've got to go and work at one other business that's located in the wool market. Where would you go and work?
I would probably say I'd probably like to sit down and picture this and draw and paint all day, probably, because I'm an artist and I do draw and paint, so that'd probably be the natural place where I'd probably end up. Yeah, definitely.
So a bit of art.
Nice. It's therapy.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, definitely. Well, thank you very much, mate. I've really enjoyed that.
No problems.
I think a lot of people will have walked themselves through an experience coming and getting their hair cut from you, and it's always good to hear more about the people behind the business, and you've dropped some serious knowledge about the way you think about business, so I appreciate that.
Glad to help.
Good. Right, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, man.